Is light therapy back? I think so. Ooh. There's so many questions like, where have you been? Why have you been gone so long? Those are the only two, and nobody's been asking them. Well, basically, me and Ty used to use our school iPads because neither of us have cameras. Or he has a camera. Now he has a camera. Well, he's had a camera this whole time. But we used to use our iPads because you can use iMovie. And so, that's what we did. But when we graduated, even though I was told I could buy my... When we graduated, we had to give our iPads back. But we have cameras again. Anyway, we're back. And we're better than ever. We have ideas. We're adults now, so we don't have to talk about that broofer shit. He's 18. I turn 18 in exactly 1 month. We're living la vida. But today, I'm not here to talk about us being gone or whatever. Just know the light therapy is back. And she's kicking. Today, woof. I said banana candy, I don't like that. So today, I'm not here to talk about why we've been gone. I'm here to talk about other stuff. I'm here to do my first official story time. Like, I know I've done that. I almost got robbed where I told Subway stories, and I've done that. Like, this is a full sequential story time. I have to get this down into 15 minutes, so let's get this shit started. So, I went to Warped Tour. I went to the final Warped Tour. Not the one in Florida. I went to the one in Noblesville, Indiana. The final Warped date for the Indiana. For the Indiana, yes. For Indiana. I was gonna go to the one here where I live, which would have been Blossom, but the friend I was going with couldn't swing any Ohio dates, and right after the Ohio dates was Detroit, and my mom was like, not hip. And then you have to go to, like, Illinois and shit. So we went to Noblesville, Indiana. We got up at 4:30 in the morning of and drove the 5 hours there. The drive there was pretty dope. We were, like, all excited. We were properly hydrated. We brought, okay, I'm going to tell you what we brought. We brought water, and we brought in 2 bottles of water because they had the hydration station inside, which allowed you to refill your water bottles for free. We brought 6 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, 3 for each of us. We were my friend ate 4, and I only had 2. I had one while I was waiting for 303, and then I had one while I was waiting for Asking Alexandria. And then we also brought lemonade Capri Suns. I bought Capri Suns, and I will explain why as we get there. So we brought all that stuff. We brought it in a knapsack with our tickets. We got to the venue at about, I'd say about 10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock or so. Yeah. Sorry, I'm like, my time is... This was on July 24th, 2018, so it's been a couple weeks. We got there about 10 o'clock. We had a couple bands come up to us. There's this one band called The Second After that I looked up, and they came up to us in the Warped line and asked us if we wanted to buy their CD, and we were like, I did not bring cash with me, which was a mistake. But they were like, you can look us up on Spotify, we're on YouTube, and I looked them up, and they're really good. And then there was Survival Kit, and they gave us like a card thing. Yeah, they let us in. Gates opened at about like 10:15. The line moved really quick. We got there. The line was long, but like not long, if that makes sense. The line to actually get into the venue was long. The line to go through the gates to get up to security was not long, but once you got to the line for security, it was long, and there were multiple security lines. Now, we were there to see 4 bands, 2 bands each. I wanted to see Water Parks, and water parks in 303. And my friend wanted to see Issues in Asking Alexandria, and we ended up seeing all of them. I didn't see Issues, but she saw Issues. So that was our objective for the day, and sorry, I'm playing with my makeup brush. I have the water park's Twitter account on notifications, so as we were like an hour, maybe 45 minutes out from the venue, I checked my phone, and they're like, Indianapolis, we're on at 11, try to get in the gate, see you there or not. So when we got into the venue, I was like, thank heck. It was like 10:30, and they let us through at 10:45 to start going to stages because sets started at 11. But we were just standing there waiting to be let through, right, to start going towards stages. And I look over. Okay, so everybody, like, say it's like a horseshoe. Like a horseshoe? Yeah, like this. Let's say it's like this, but it's sideways like this, right? So everybody's waiting at security on the right side by the barricades and security and the hydration station, and we didn't want to be in the crowd of people, so we went to the left side. And I turned my head, and there's Otto and there's Otto and Jeff from Water Parks just walking down, and they walk down the barricade, and they just walk through, and I was like, nobody notices them right now? And I wanted to say something, but the day hadn't even started yet. They were literally walking to their set, and I was like, I can't stop them, but they were like right there. And I looked and I was like, that's Jeff. And I was like, oh my god, that's Otto. Because Otto was wearing very short shorts. And I was like, he wears those shorts like a lot. And I was like, oh my god. Anyway, and then after that we got let through, we went to the water park set. And we were doing absolutely fantastic. We were having the most fun. I was carrying a crowd surfer and she fell and she completely like dented my glasses. Luckily my stepdad fixed them when I got home, but like for the rest of the day my glasses were like crooked. I was like, ugh. I was almost barricade. I was probably 6 or 7 rows back, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when I turned around there were a lot of people at the water park set. And then after that, my friend Issues was on at noon, and Water Parks was on at 11 at the Journey's Left Foot stage. So my friend Aurora stayed behind so that way she could make barricade, and I was going to meet her after I got the meet and greet tickets. Well, because I wanted to meet Water Parks, and I wanted to give them Capri Suns. That was the whole point. I wanted to give them lemonade Capri Suns, and I did. I finally found where their meet and greet tent was, and I was like, hey, I want the Water Parks meet and greet ticket, can I get one? They were like, sure, it's a $5 suggested donation for mental health research. I was like, totally. They were like, the meet and greet's at noon, and I was like, I'm gonna miss Issues. And I ended up missing Issues, and I felt really bad. But I did get to meet them. Hold on, I'm pulling up the pictures. I did get to meet them. I also got a picture from the water park set. So see, I wasn't too far back, but I wasn't too close either. So I wore a shirt. This is a picture of me with my best friend, by the way. I wore a red shirt that I think I've worn on this channel before. And it's a Hawaiian print. And I walked up, and I was holding Capri Suns, which you can see. Here's me hugging Austin. And in my hands, there's the Capri Suns. I walked up, Jeff and Otto were just like chilling. And then I went to give Jeff his Capri Sun. They were lemonade. And the whole time I was saying this, I was like, hi, my name's Savannah, thank you so much. Thank you, here's some Capri Suns, I got you Capri Suns, they're lemonade, they're the best flavor in the world, thank you so much. I was word vomiting, but like good word vomit. So here's this, right? And there's Jeff's face. I crack up every fucking time. And I went to walk back to take a picture, and I didn't know who I was going to stand between because it's not even, and it's just really just like, And so I walked back to take a picture with them. Also, hold on. If you look at the picture with Jeff, there's Austin staring at that Capri Sun with so much intent. That makes me happy. But I walk over to take the picture. Here's the print I was wearing too in that picture. I walk back over to take the picture, and Austin was like, "Hey, I like your shirt." And I was like, "Thanks, I got it on eBay," because I did. And he was like, "Oh, cool, I got banned from eBay." And I was like, "What did you sell?" Because I'm fairly new to the water parks fandom, but like, you know. And he goes, and we're taking the picture at that point, so he's got his arm up, and he's like, "Selling my leg hair." And I was like, do I get to ask him this in his TEI class? Because I bought a ticket to his workshop. So, after I met them, I followed some people on Twitter. What's poppin'? What's Gucci? If you ever see this. And I waited for my friend to be done at the issue set, which took a little bit longer. And she came up to me. I was standing at the inflatable. I walked around for a little bit. I went to the bathroom. I took a picture of the porta potty, and then I was standing at the inflatable where all the bands for the day were, and like what time they were going on, rather set times. Thank you, brain. And she comes up to me and she goes, "I made Barricade," and I was like, my friend Aurora is like an inch shorter than me, so she's like 5'4", 5'5". And she was like, there were so many tall guys around me, and I'm immediately like, these are like 6 foot something dudes, and she made Barricade. I was like, yikes. She was unscathed. We walked around for a little bit after that, just for a little bit to like get our legs going, because we were in the car and then we were just standing around, so we wanted to like move a little bit. And then we walked back over to Left Foot for 303, because they were on at 1. They were on at 1. So we walked back over, and we were on the one side, and I was like, "Hey, I have to go to my TEI class. I have to line up for my TEI class at 1:45. I need to stand on the other side." And she was like, "Cool." So we walked to the other side, and 303 came on, and they opened up with My First Kiss, which was absolutely incredible. We were just like screaming these words. And then they did some other stuff. I guess somebody up at the front was wearing a chicken costume. Also, somebody was wearing a cactus costume, and this whole group of men came wearing California Highway Patrol costumes. Beats fucking me. So they did their set, and they ended with "Don't Trust Me," which, if you grew up, like, at all in the early 2000s, mid to late 2000s, yeah, mid to late 2000s, I'd say. That's when, "Don't Trust Me" came out in, like, 2008. What? I'm not smart. If you grew up in the mid to late 2000s, you heard "Don't Trust Me." So, I swear, you could hear it for miles. They were like, "To tell your boyfriend if he says he's got beef," and all of us were like, "I'm a vegetarian and I ain't fucking scared of him." All of us had like our middle fingers up. It was great. I kind of low-key wanted to crowd surf to that song, but I was like, I'm not risking it. I was all the way in the back. There was space. Like, I was so far back that there was space between me and the other people. And then after that, I went and I stood in line for my TEI class with Austin Knight, which was called "Whatever Austin Decides to Do That Day, Please Come." And that was absolutely hilarious. He made the world's worst sandwich, and we were next to a dock, because, like, it was, like, small enough. It was, like, too big to be a pond, but too small to be a lake. And there was a dock there with boats on it. And he was, like, beating up this sandwich. I have video. Also, here's the picture I took with the water parks. It's on my Instagram. It's on my Instagram at eBay Floral, if you want to follow it. Here's a video of Austin Knight beating up. He's tenderizing that sandwich. This was during the Real Big Fish set. And I remember when their set started, I heard and I turned and I was like, is that Take On Me? And somebody was like, it's the Real Big Fish set. And I was like, makes sense. So after he tenderized that sandwich, he was like, none of my sandwiches have ever been on a boat before. And so he walked over and he put his sandwich on the boat, and he turned to us, and, like, it wasn't in the boat or anything, like, he set it on the edge, and he was just like, and we were all like, and then he gave that sandwich away, and then he convinced us why soda and water are the same thing, and that was fun. And then he goes, if you drink your pee, you might become immortal. And then baby blood, and then, no, not baby blood, well, yeah, then blood got brought into it, and he goes, I don't mess with blood because it freaks me out, but that's how celebrities stay so young. They get baby blood transfusions. And we were like, and he was like, you guys don't believe me? I have a phone. And he pulled out his phone, and I don't know where it was going to go if it wasn't for this, but he pulled out his phone, and he goes, oh, my mom tried to FaceTime me. Should we FaceTime her back? And we were all like, yeah. So we ended up FaceTiming his mom, and she was like, I walked 3.2 miles this morning, and I went to the gym, and I just got home from Smoothie King. Now I'm on the back porch with Jet. Jet is Austin's cat. And she was like, do you want to see Jet? And we were all like, yeah. And we were, first of all, we were cheering for her already because she walked 3.2 miles and went to the gym. She's the queen of fitness. Can I get an amen? And she was like, Jet. And Jet kept walking away, and she goes, Jet, look, it's Aussie. It's Aussie. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so pure. And she was like, what are you teaching your TEI class on? He was like, Christianity and street law. Really, we were talking about drinking your pee and being immortal because soda and water are the same thing. And then, after he hung up, he goes, yeah, so soda and water are the same thing. And then he goes, so we have some extra time left. Do you guys want to take some pictures? And all of us were like, yeah. So I made my way up to the front, and Lucas, their tour manager, was like, hey, we only have time for a couple more pictures. And I was like, no. And I out loud said, please, please, please. And I didn't want to say that, but that was like bad word vomit. But I went up, and I gave him a hug, and he goes, it's nice to see you again with your eBay floral. And I was like, you remember me. And then we took that picture, which is my profile picture literally everywhere. I don't know how to make this more visible. I'm sorry. It's my profile picture literally everywhere. And then I said, Kyle Fletcher's isn't on eBay. And he goes, really? And if you don't know who Kyle Fletcher's is, he's in cahoots with water parks. He's frontman for a band called December's Tragedy. They have one song. It's on Spotify. I don't remember the name of it, but it's on there. I want to say it's called City Street Serenade. Don't quote me, but yeah. And then I took this girl's picture. I wish I would have gotten her Twitter. She was really nice. And then, yeah, that was that. We took the group picture, and the TEI website won't let me get the picture, and I'm angry about it. TEI, please. Give me my workshop picture, please. And then after that, I came out, I found my friend, and we were, after the TEI class was the Mayday Parade set. And so they did a couple songs, and they were like, when we heard this was the last Warped Tour, we thought, wouldn't it be cool if Blink-182 was on it? And we were all like, and they were like, sadly they're not on though. And we were like, we'll kill you. Actually, we wouldn't have. I'm not gonna generalize the whole crowd. There are some sketchy people. I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure none of them would have committed murder right then and there. But they were like, here's a cover. And this was when I turned to my friend and I said, I can't let this dream of mine die. And I handed her my card and my cards and my glasses, and I took my phone and I was like, I have to crowd surf. So I went looking, and I finally found where they were lifting people up to crowd surf. And by the time I got over there, there was a ballad. So I just stood there and I waited, and then they did another song. I don't remember what it was. And I just was like, and the girl was like, yeah, and I was like, can you boost me up? And she was like, absolutely, turn on your back. And I turned, and she went behind me, and her and her friends just like, poof, and I went flying. It was so much fun. I remember I was going, and then I almost got dropped, and I accidentally kicked this girl in the face. I accidentally kicked this girl in the face, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, I'm fine, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And I kept going, and then finally I got dropped, and I just like, I didn't fall on my back or anything. I ended up falling on my feet. And they were like, do you want to go back up? And I was like, no. And I turned, and I looked to my left, and there's the pit, like 3 people away. So I'm like, excuse me, and I just run through, and I just, like, run in the pit for a little while. I wasn't in that pit for long, maybe, like, 30, 40 seconds. But just enough to say that I was in a pit. So I got to cross 2 things off my bucket list just then. I got to cross off crowd surfing and moshing at Warped Tour. And I also got to cross Warped Tour off my bucket list. After the Mayday Parade set, we went and got water at the hydration station, and everybody else at other dates was like, the water line was so long, but honestly, the water line, even though it was long at my date, it moved incredibly fast. And we got our water, and we tasted it, and it was tap water, but, like, we're not complaining because it's free, and we were dehydrated. And so then we went, and we were trying to find a place to sit, and we found, like, some shade in a pavilion type thing, and while we were sitting there, we could hear the Mutant Energy stages, and we heard My Children, My Bride, and they sounded really good. So we made a plan to check them out. I haven't yet. I'm going to. And then we were just waiting for one more band, and that was Asking Alexandria. We sat under that shade for a really long time. Excuse me. We sat under that shade for a really long time. And then at about 5:30, we walked back over to the Left Foot stage. Or at about 5:15 rather, because we wanted to be close for Asking Alexandria. So about 5:15, we walk over to the Left Foot stage, and there's this guy we've never heard of before. His name is Frank Turner. And we're like, how did he end up on the Left Foot stage? Because normally if you're on the Left Foot, if you're on one of the Journey stages, that means you're, like, big. Because, like, the Ernie Ball stage is for small bands. And then there's the Owly FM stage, which had bands like Palais Royale on it. And then there was the Mutant Energy stages, which had, like, the hardcore bands on it. And then there were the Left Foot, Right Foot stages, and those had, like, Water Parks, We the Kings, Asking Alexandria, Issues, all those bands on them. And I'm really mad, by the way, that I missed We the Kings because I wanted to see Check Yes Juliet live. And then when I finally found out where it was in the amphitheater on the other side of the venue. I was done dirty. But we go there, and there's this guy named Frank Turner, and he was really good. And in the middle of his last song, this guy proposed to his girlfriend. And they just got engaged, and he goes, did you guys just get fucking engaged in the middle of my song? And they were like, yeah, and he was like, rock on! And then we moved up. After he went off, the crowd moved up, because Asking Alexandria obviously is gonna have, like, a big pit. And, like, a big turnout, I mean. So we're standing there, And this guy behind us starts going, I want my wall, give me my wall. And I'm like, I turn to my friend and I'm like, Aurora, if there's a wall, we're running. She was like, okay. And for those who don't know what a wall is, that's short for wall of death. And basically that's when the crowd splits in half and charges at each other full force. And I was not about to be part of that. So luckily a wall didn't happen, but what did end up happening is we were standing there, and then as soon as Acme Alexandria came on, they started their first song, and immediately people pushed us forward and made a circle for a pit. And I ended up being surrounded by people taller than me, and I started to get really claustrophobic. And I was like, I need to go. Aurora, I'm so sorry. I'll meet you afterward. She ended up making barricade, and I went all the way to the back. Not all the way to the back. I made it. There was space for me to move and breathe. We had a lot of fun at the Asking. I had a lot of fun at the Asking Alexandria set, watching everything happen. My friend ended up getting a guitar pick. Like, we were walking out of the venue, and she turns to me and she goes, bruh. And I'm like, what? And she goes, and she holds it up, and I was like, she told me that the lead guitarist walked up and went, which means make a circle pit, and that's when she ended up making barricade. And she said she kept getting hit by crowd surfers, because there were a shit ton of crowd surfers at almost every single set that I went to. And everybody crowd surfed during Asking Alexandria so many times. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. She ended up getting knocked down. She ended up getting someone's face paint on her legs, and she had bruises. She has bruises up and down her legs still. They haven't gone away yet. Yeah, and then after Asking Alexandria went on at 6. Yeah, Asking Alexandria went on at 6, and she was like, it's a 5-hour drive home and I have to work in the morning, so I don't think we're going to stay for any more sets. Which was really sad, because Simple Plan was the last one on that night, and I wanted to see Simple Plan. Like, it's the meme of it all. I'm just a kid, and life is a nightmare. And I also wanted to see the Palais Royale set, but this was before I've heard about their problematic tendencies. So, we left right after the Asking Alexandria set, and we walked out, and I just started crying, bro. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this happened. I can't believe that I got to experience this. Like, that was my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Because, okay, I wanted to go when I was a sophomore in high school, right? I was going to buy the tickets. I was making lists of the bands based on, like, whether they were good enough to see, whether they weren't, maybes that we could possibly catch. I was watching the Warped Tour preparation videos. Like, I was ready. And then I went to First Friday, which is an event here in Canton that happens on the first Friday of every month that celebrates the Arts District. And I rode my bike downtown, and I chained it up at the library, and it got stolen. And my mom told me I couldn't go. And then 2017 I wanted to go, and just nobody wanted to go with me. Plus, I didn't really, like, see any bands on the lineup that I thought I'd like, rather. And then this year I was like, I'm going, and nobody's stopping me. I ended up really liking it, and I'm so glad that I drove to Indiana. And I have a whole other video filmed on my thoughts on the end of Warped Tour, and maybe that'll go up sometime in the next few days / in the next week or two, if I don't decide to scrap it, because I've been scrapping a lot lately. But at the end of the day, I went to the final Warped Tour in Noblesville, Indiana, and I made some friends, and I got to see God's favorite boy band, and I got to meet God's favorite boy band, and I got to meet the lead singer of God's favorite boy band twice, and I got to see Asking Alexandria, and I got to hear some new music, and I got to have an incredible time. Oh, also, there's this one band that I want to check out I think it's called Shira Girl or something like that. It's an all-girl punk band. And they were on while we were walking to get water, and I felt bad that I didn't stop. But, yeah, they were on the Ernie Ball stage. But yeah, that was my day at the final Warped Tour. Or my day at the final Warped Tour for Noblesville, Indiana. I really enjoyed myself, and after Warped Tour I realized the alternative scene is where I belong. So I really do owe Warped and Kevin Lyman that. Yeah. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do all that jazz. All of mine and Ty's social media will be down below. We are so excited for the Light Therapy relaunch. We have been talking about this channel for weeks/months now, because we kind of toned it down after we graduated for a little bit to get our lives together, because Ty lives in Vegas now, and I miss him so much. I literally miss Ty with, like, every fiber of my being. I miss Ty. But yeah, that was my day at the final Warped Tour. Like I said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that jazz. All of our social media is down below. You can follow me on Instagram at eBayFlora. You can follow me on Twitter at Vanna679. You can follow Ty on Twitter at TyDevin, I believe. And I believe that's also the same for his Instagram. He also has a personal channel, which is featured on our channel. I have another collaboration channel that I can link down in the description below. And yeah, we'll see ya. And it's gonna be fucking kick-ass. Demonetize me, bitch.